kinds of ignorance, the worst types of ignorance, then he was commanded, فَاصْبِرْ صَبْرًا جَمِيلًا. Be patient in the most beautiful form. Show restraint over your emotions. When we respond intellectually. And I want to address some of the comments that were made, even though they're full of ignorance, at least for the younger Muslims here who get fired up real easy or get depressed about these kinds of things. First and foremost, two things I want to talk about. The first of them is, there's no such thing as burning the Quran. There's no such thing. Allah Azza wa Jal revealed this book from Lawhun Mahfuz. بَلْ هُوَ قُرْآنٌ مَجِيدٌ فِي لَوْحٍ مَحْفُوظ Kitabun Maknoon. Allah Azza wa Jal talks about it as protected and guarded in the seventh heavens. And when Allah Azza wa Jal gave His messenger the mission to deliver the message, and people wouldn't take it seriously, they would disregard the Quran. What did Allah Azza wa Jal tell His messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Oh, kalla innaha tadhkira. No, this is a powerful reminder. فَمَنْ شَاءَ ذَكَرَ. Whoever wants, they can make mention of it. Whoever wants, they can benefit from the reminder and they can remember. But even if they don't, فِي صُحُفٍ مُكَرَّمَةٍ مَرْفُوعَةٍ مُطَهَّرَةٍ بِأَيْدِي سَفَرَةٍ. This is very high speech. This is not some magazine or newspaper or book that was published here. This is from a very high place. So the fact that you even get to have contact with it and get to hear these words is an honor for you. And if you don't want to take benefit of it, that's your loss. Trying to insult Allah's book or to harm Allah's book is as useless as trying to spit at the sun. It's only going to come back on your own face. It's pointless. And so the first thing I want to share with you is the book. What they're burning is ink and paper. What they're burning is things printed in a public printing press. They're not burning the Quran. The Quran is with Allah Azza wa Jal. And then the Quran that came on the earth was revealed on the heart of Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. عَلَى قَلْبِكَ لِتَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُنذِرِينَ. So it was revealed on your heart so you can become from those who warn. And by the way, after that in Surah Al-Ankabut, Allah gives us a definition, a beautiful definition of the Quran. Besides the one that is up in the heavens, the worldly definition of Quran, what does He say? بَلْ هُوَ آيَاتٌ بَيِّنَاتٌ فِي صُدُورِ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمِ. These ayat that we recite, those are miraculous signs, clear miraculous signs that lie in the chests of those who have been given knowledge. You want to burn the Quran, you will have to burn these chests. This is where the Quran actually lies. They cannot remove this Quran. The only people in that, and the point I want to make here is, the only people who can violate Allah's book and not do justice to Allah's book and be criminals against Allah's book more than anyone else is the believers themselves. If we, who were given the Quran to keep in our hearts, remove it from our hearts, وَلَا تُطِعْ مَنْ أَغْفَلْنَا قَلْبَهُ عَنْ ذِكْرِنَا. Don't follow the one whose heart has been made void of our remembrance. And the remembrance of Allah is the Quran. When the Quran that was supposed to be in the chests of the believers, when it is gone from these chests, when we don't remember the Quran with our hearts, when we have no idea what's being recited in Salah, when we find it boring, and we're wondering what rak'ah is it in Taraweeh already. You know, if that's the case with us, then we're bigger criminals. Don't worry about anybody else. Let's worry about ourselves first. We owe something to this book. We owe something to this book. And then on top of this, you know what we have done, we very quickly we look at non-Muslims and the things they do, but very difficult for us to look in the mirror, very difficult, and seriously look in the mirror. How can it be that we have Muslims all over this world, and I'm not knocking on any countries in particular, ourselves, we're guilty as well, and we can, we can have decorative pieces of ayat of Quran in our homes and big framed ayat, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ, Surah Al-Asr, and then next to it is a big screen TV and you're watching movies for like 8 hours a day, and next to it Allah swears by Himself that you're running out of time. This is not disrespect of Quran? This reminder is looking at you in the face and you couldn't care less? The only thing the Quran is doing in your car is that you don't have dual side airbags, so at least keep a copy of Quran in the car, And while you're blasting whatever filth it is you're blasting, T-Pain or whatever, but you still got to hang the Ayatul Kursi from the rear view mirror because it's going to protect you somehow. This is Quran to you, And this is a very scary thing that we reduce the Quran to trinkets. And I'm not saying don't keep a copy of Quran in your car and put the reminder from the rear view mirror. I say you should do it. But when the remembrance is gone, when the remembrance for the believer from the Quran, when it doesn't touch their heart, then there's a very serious problem. More serious than anyone trying to burn some copies of this Mus'haf. It's far more serious. And so what they are trying to do, first of all, just let's address what they're trying to do. What they are trying to do is proving Allah's point. يُرِيدُونَ لِيُطْفِئُوا نُورَ اللَّهِ بِأَفْوَاهِهِمْ وَاللَّهُ مُتِمُّ نُورِهِ. They're trying to extinguish Allah's light with their mouths, and Allah is going to complete His light. There's no way around it. They can bark all they want. They can have as many barbecues as they like. That's not going to change anything. The word of Allah will be complete. The word of Allah will be supreme. وَلِتَكُونَ كَلِمَةُ اللَّهِ هِيَ الْعُلْيَا وَكَلِمَةُ اللَّهِ هِيَ الْعُلْيَا. And by the way, that's Jumla Ismiya. He didn't even put condition on it in Surah At-Tawbah. He said the speech of Allah, it is supreme. He didn't say it will be supreme or so that it becomes supreme. He just said straight, directly, it is supreme. You don't have to elevate it. It's already elevated. It's already there. Nothing can bring it down. This is speech that, this is not new, these attacks. So I conclude my first point with this, that we have to ourselves have increased dignity of Quran. We ourselves. And when we look at these acts of ignorance, we need to be collected and calm, and we need to first of all understand what they're doing is an exercise in futility. It's an exercise in futility. And the attempt of it is to get the emotions of the Muslims riled up. Don't think we're not disrespected by their act. We are. This is offensive. What they're doing is offensive. But the way we respond is the way we should be responding, not the way they want us to respond. That's the first point I wanted to make. The second thing I wanted to bring to your attention is that in the CNN interview with this pastor, he said, yeah, we don't have any problem with Muslims, but the Sharia law is from the devil. That's what he says. Right? And this is something that's being repeated over and over again, how barbaric Sharia law is, and there are actually some in more academic circles, not these ignorant evangelical types of things, but in more academic circles in places like Harvard and Columbia University, forums are being held about how Sharia law does not jive with modern civilization, and how they actually had seminars about this last few years in a row about how the principles of Islamic law that deal with women and inheritance and things like that, or ridda, these kinds of issues, these are controversial laws, and we need to find a way to help the Muslims reinterpret them in a way that is more politically correct, etc. And they've had forums on this issue, several forums in more higher academic circles. But how do we respond to that? How do we understand that? First of all, let's respond to the pastor. For yourself, not for anybody else. Any law of Islam that is mentioned in the Quran that they call from the devil is already mentioned in the Bible. Allah already revealed it. This, what Allah revealed to us, is a confirmation of what was already revealed. And the things they call the most controversial, the things they call jihad controversial, read about smiting nations in the Bible. Then you find, and NPR did a show just on this, which book has more violence in it, and there's no comparison, the Bible is far more violent. According to their standard, we didn't say anything. We didn't say anything. And the Bible talks about not sparing even a man, woman, or a child, and burning down trees, and breaking every house. There are passages like that in the Bible. But then they conveniently say, yeah, but we don't follow our book. What a thing to be taking pride in, right? We don't follow our book. But they want us to be that way. Subhanallah. The second thing here is one of the things that was recently made a big case of, oh, you Muslims are barbaric, you have this law of ridda. Ridda means somebody leaves Islam. And when somebody leaves Islam, they miss it. They don't understand the fiqh of it at all. And this is not the forum to talk about its interpretation or understanding, but they say, oh, if somebody leaves Islam, you're going to kill him. Really? That's something you don't know about? When Musa alayhi salam went up to the mountain and they started worshipping the calf behind him, and he comes back, what did Allah reveal? فَاقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ ذَلِكُمْ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ عِنْدَ بَارِئِكُمْ. This is in the Quran, this is in the Tawrat. Kill your own people. The ones who have left Islam and worship the calf, their punishment is they should be executed. This is not Sharia law, this is the Sharia of Musa alayhi salam. And it's a continuation. It's not something new. This is something in your own book. You don't look at that as controversial? ذَلِكُمْ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ عِنْدَ بَارِئِكُمْ فَتَابَ عَلَيْكُمْ. Allah Azza wa Jalla told them, that is better for your nation as far as your Lord is concerned. And He will accept your tawbah if you do so. You punish each tribe of the 12 tribes of Israel. Each tribe, in Surah Al-Baqarah we learn, was commanded to execute those who had left. Islam. And we're not saying that we do that with our people actually, because there's more involved to this law. And again, it's not the forum for that discussion. But to think that a pastor, somebody who teaches the Bible, can get up on a podium and talk